Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about Sylvia Plath. She is an American poet. If you watched my earlier YouTube videos, you must be aware about the poem Daddy, which was written by Sylvia Plath. She is the same writer about whom we are going to discuss today. Sylvia Plath is an American poet, novelist, and short story writer. She has been credited with advancing the genre of confessional poetry. She is best known for her published collections, The Colossus, and other poems, also The Ariel. She has also written a beautiful novel that is The Bell Jar. Her novel, The Bell Jar, is not an autobiographical novel, but we can say that it is a semi autobiographical novel. Further moving on to her personal life, she got married to Ted Hughes. He was an English poet, translator, and a children's writer. Sylvia Plath was born in 1932 in Boston and she died in February 1963. Moreover, Plath's father was a German immigrant college professor. His name was Otto Plath. Sylvia Plath had two children, Frida Hughes and Nicholas Hughes. She committed suicide at the age of 30 when she was too young. Sylvia Plath wrote plethora of poems and novels before her death. Her most famous works were The Colossus that was published in 1960, Lady Lazarus that was published in 1965, Ariel in 1965, Mirror in 1971. Since in the very beginning I told that Sylvia Plath is an American poet, she used to write confessional poetry. The moment started in 1950s and 1960s. It is the kind of a poetry wherein the person specifically writes about themselves. Say for example, where I will write about my feelings, what I felt or what I have dealt with. It may be bad or depressing sort of things, or maybe happiness, joy, or anything in life. The writers in this kind of a poetry write specially about themselves. Poets write about their own personal experiences in an open, direct style in which they don't hide anything. That too about their bad experience, depressing things. Since I already mentioned that these types of writings emerged in the late 1950s and early 1960s, here are many associated poets with these type of writings. First one is Robert Lowell, second Ian Sexton, Sylvia Plath, W.B. Snodgrass. As we have studied and we are clear about what confessional poetry exactly is all about, let's move on to the characteristics of confessional poetry. First characteristic is the first person narration, second is the intimate and personal subject, third is the lyrical talent. We'll discuss all this in detail. Since I have not mentioned these characteristics in the detail, but I would like you all to sit with a pen and paper in your hand so that you can note the detailed analysis of these characteristics. This is the most repeated question asked in the exam, that what are the characteristics of confessional poetry, and write about one poem that exists in your syllabus. So you will have to mention Daddy by Sylvia Plath as the confessional poetry, and you will have to jot down all the three important characteristics. So let's start with the first person narration. Now, since I've already told you that confessional poetry is poetry of the personal or I, so here poets write about their first person point of view, that is, they tell about their lifestyles, which allows readers to identify emotionally with the speaker of the poem. Say for example, we can relate to our lives, our present life, with that of the writing of the speaker, that maybe we can connect with the writer, that yes, we are going through this which the writer has gone through earlier times. Also, readers automatically connect with the problem of the writer. We can connect directly. हम एक साथ सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हमारी एक पोइट्री, जैसे कभी कभी होता है ना, हम एक सॉन्ग सुनते हैं तो हम उसको रिलेट कर लेते हैं अपनी लाइफ से. सिमिलरली ये पोइट्री लाइन में ऐसा होता है दैट व्हेन वी रीड अ पोइट्री वी अंडरस्टैंड द समरी एंड द डिटेल एनालिसिस, तो हम सोचते हैं कि हाँ, हमारे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ है. Moving on to the second most important characteristic of the confessional poetry is intimate and personal subject. जो ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है इसमें हम कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स या कुछ लाइफ की टैबूज से रिलेट करते हैं। इसमें ज़्यादा पोइट्स किसके बारे में लिखते हैं? दैट इज़ मेंटल इलनेस, सेक्सुअलिटी एंड सुसाइड, alcoholism, depression, the use of drug abuse, gender roles, family life, and identity. This kind of a subject are in an intimate subject manner. This kind of a poetry is always in an intimate subject manner, be it social issues or whatever. This is the most defining characteristic of confessional poetry. Why? Because earlier poet used to write about social issues in confessional poetry, but now they deal with intimate subjects. Now moving on to the third characteristic of confessional poetry is the lyrical talent. Since we all are learning literature, we know what is lyrical talent, wherein we use similes, metaphors, allusions in a proper and correct manner. So this talent shows craftsmanship. राइटर्स की प्रॉपर अटेंशन टू राइम एंड मीटर, प्रॉपर राइमिंग स्कीम्स होती है पोइट्री में, प्रॉपर मीटर्स होते हैं, हर जगह यूज़ ऑफ मेटाफर्स, इल्यूजन्स, सब कुछ प्रॉपर मैनर में होता है। रादर जस्ट पोरिंग हर्ट ऑन द पेपर, कन्फेशनल पोइट्स मेंटेन अ लेवल ऑफ टैलेंट। हम लोग अपनी मन की बातें तो लिखते हैं उसके अंदर, लेकिन जो राइटर्स होते हैं वो अपने मन की बात लिखते हैं, लेकिन उसके अंदर वो प्रॉपर लिटरेचर के यूज़ करते हैं। दैट इज़ राइम स्कीम्स, एलिटरेशंस, मेटाफर्स, सिमिलीज। वी नो व्हाट द की फीचर्स ऑफ लिटरेचर आर, राइट? Since we are clear about what the confessional poetry is and we have already learned about the writer Sylvia Plath, we will now move on to the poetry. This poem was written on October 12, 1962. 4 months before her death and 1 month after her separation from her husband Ted Hughes. Daddy comprises of 16 5-line stanzas. It is a brutal poem commonly understood to be about Plath's deceased father, Otto Plath. Now what we see in this poem is that she continuously keeps on saying that she wants to kill her father again. Now this is very surprising, that why would a daughter want to kill her father who is already dead? She repeatedly saying that she wants to kill her father shows that maybe she was very unhappy in her life, or she is not happy about the fact that he is dead. Further in the poem, we see that she uses different metaphors to create a figurative image of her father. She calls her father a black shoe, a statue that stretches across the United States, like a god, like a Nazi, like a swastika. Later on, she also says that her father was a vampire. Why? We as readers have now understood that her poetry is basically a neurotic anger which is expressed through creative art or poetry. Since Sylvia Plath is known for her tortured soul, the writer does not wishes her father to return. वो कभी नहीं चाहती कि उसके फादर वापस आएँ, और ना ही वो चाहती है या फिर वो याद करती है कि जो बिलवड थे, मतलब her father was too beloved for her, कि वो वापस आएँ। रादर वो चाहती है कि she never wanted to see him again, और वो चाहती है अगर वो ज़िंदा होते तो वो उनको जान से मारना चाहती थी। Rather we see that she feels a sense of relief at his departure from her life, कि वो चले गए हैं तो उसको अब शांति है कि चलो finally he has gone. Now, since this poetry is written during the time of World War II, we see that the society here, men used to dominate the women. All the problems that were created in the life of women were actually being forced by men. Sylvia Plath continuously in her poetry talks about her struggle to declare that no matter how terrible her father was, वो कितने भी बुरे थे, she says that he is through with him now. She never wants to see him again. She continuously talks about the cruelty she has been facing because of her father, and she finally says that she is through with him, that he has gone and she will never ever try to recall the memories or the love which they shared. We don't know that even they shared some sort of love or not. We can just from her saying that she wanted to kill her father, हम लोग सिर्फ ये जज कर सकते हैं that she was not happy with her father. She is now not even happy or sad about that he has gone, but she will never want to see him again. Now, as we know that what is confessional poetry and what this poetry Daddy by Sylvia Plath is about, we will do the detailed RTC analysis of this poem in the next video. So please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for more updates. Thank you. So I hope you all have liked my video. I've tried to make explanation very easier for you people. Please do not forget to like this video and to subscribe my channel if you haven't done that yet. Thank you for watching my video.